Live.
We are live. We're coming to you. Excited about arbitrage and wanting to talk about arbitrage. I'm Eric Abbey. I'm coming to you from northern Vermont, from the headquarters of AP Prep Services, right here in our warehouse facility. Hopefully, the background noise won't be a big distraction, but I'm coming to you live from here. Alan Urzar is joining me, and he's coming live from.
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I mean, if there's noise over there, that means that they're working. So that's a good sign. Everything's moving along.
That's right. We like the sound of forklifts. Means that's right. It means that stuff is coming and stuff is going and business is good, which it certainly is here. We're busy, but we're excited to stop for a few minutes and talk specifically about arbitrage. And we want to try to help you guys focus on three things that you can follow, three simple steps that you can navigate that we think will help move your arbitrage forward or help you get started if you've never done arbitrage and never sold on Amazon before. So arbitrage is not complicated. It does require hard work and a commitment, and so you've got to be ready to persevere at it and to really put consistent energy into it over time. But if you do that, you're sure to find success. And Alan and I have both been able to find that success ourselves, and we're eager to be able to pass it on. So we're gonna talk about three simple, I think, but significant steps that you can follow to advance your own arbitrage or to get it started. And we'll talk a little bit about the ROI scanner tool, which we continue to be excited about, and we continue to see people use and use successfully. So, Alan, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you think the first important thing is for folks to be giving thought to when it comes to arbitrage?
Sure. I think for me, the most important or the first important thing that I always pay attention to is learning on or knowing how to find high quality products. I think if you're selling on Amazon and you're buying products but they're not selling, and you're building your inventory on the Amazon warehouse but they're not selling, you have to pay attention to what kind of products are you sending, because even though the Amazon catalog is really, really huge, and there's, I think last time I heard the statistic is like 500,000 different products listed on the Amazon catalog. You have to realize that not everything sells at the same time, and some things that are on the catalog, they're not really selling. So you need to figure out what is a good quality or a high quality product that I want to buy and send to the warehouse. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of products that are not really selling, or it's going to take a long time to sell. And even Amazon now is taking has changed the way they structure their warehouse, and we have to meet certain criteria in order to have unlimited space, because they want to make sure that we are paying attention to products that I can buy today and sell within the next few months. They're not going to be on the warehouse for a very, very long time. And when I talk about high quality products, I'm usually not talking about the quality of the plastic or the quality of the actual material of the product. I'm talking about three different things that I like to see on my products. High demand is one of them. I want to see that this product is selling at least 15, 20, 30 times a month, even more if I can. But I want to see high demand, meaning there's some people buying this product every month. The other thing that I like to see is low competition. So, for example, if I find a product that is selling, let's say, 25 times a month, for some people it might not be a really good product, but if it only has one seller on that listing and that seller has 10 units, that means that this seller is going to sell his 10 units within the month, because there's an estimated 25 sales a month. And that means that even if I come in with another 3, 5, 10 units, I'm going to be able to sell mine within the next maybe month, the first month, or maybe in a few months if there's more competition. But if let's say there's an item that is selling 60 times a month or 100 times a month, but there's 25 sellers and each seller has 10 units a month, 10 units on their inventory, that's too many units of inventory for the amount of sales. So the demand is lower than the competition. So you have to be able to understand that information, be able to analyze that information, and that's where ROI scanner comes into play, because you can see, you can analyze that information when you're buying a product, or when you're getting ready to send that product to Amazon, and you want to make sure that the competition is low, the demand is high, and then after you buy it and you sell it, you're able to get a good profit amount. It could be $3, $5, $7 or higher. I usually like to look at least 40% ROI on my return on my investment, and then after that, just trying to make sure that I cover all of those steps, or I cover that criteria on my products to make sure that it's going to sell soon.
Now, you said that there are 500,000 products in the Amazon catalog. You must have misspoke.
500 million products. That would be nice if there's only 500,000.
Yeah, it's certainly more than that, because we are dealing with categories that have millions of products in them. So I wouldn't be surprised if 500 million is accurate. It's a huge number. So that certainly tells you that just because you find a product that's listed on the Amazon catalog does not mean that it's going to sell. Exactly. And so, Alan's right. And to summarize what he's saying, you simply want to be able to identify profits. You want to be able to identify products that are going to sell and are going to sell at a profit, so that you are benefiting from that sales. I just dropped my phone.
Yeah, and I think for most people who are starting up, it's going to be a challenge trying to understand all this data, especially at the beginning. And that's why I always pay a lot more attention when you're starting up. You wanna exercise that analyzing products a lot. Before even sending your first products to Amazon, because there's only two ways you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn, by exercising or testing, or you're gonna learn by having the products and not being able to sell them on the warehouse, which is gonna be more expensive.
Yeah, that's right. And that's part of why we promote the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership, which you can check out in the link below through Just One Dime, because that's one of the main goals that we really try to spend a lot of time focusing on in that membership, is just how to analyze and understand what products are going to sell and what are going to be profitable. And it's simple, but you've got to really get that in your focus, in your crosshairs, and be able to identify what products are going to make those sales, so that you're not frustrated, and so that you're moving product. And that's really important. Tibor is live with us, and he's got a question, Alan. Why don't you field this one? How do you manage to have 3,000 products? Are you doing this yourself, or do you have somebody helping you? Actually, let's table that, and we'll come back to it at the end, because we're going to identify two other steps that are going to be relevant to this, Tibor, and
Sure.
And then we can answer it specifically. But why don't you shift and move to the second point? So first, it's finding high quality products, which means that they're going to sell quickly and they're going to be profitable. That's how we're defining high profit products, or high quality products. What's the second simple step after that, Alan?
To me, it's having a good system, and expanding, your searches, and being able to expand your searches. So having a good system is essential. And what I mean by that is, sometimes we're gonna make a mistake, and believe me, I've made those mistakes several times, and sometimes I find myself making those same mistakes again and again, because sometimes you kind of get into the pattern of I'm looking for products, and then I start finding products, so I start buying products. But then you have to understand that the process that you should be following all the time is, you want to have some time to buy products or source your inventory. Then you're gonna have some time to prep that inventory, make sure everything looks good. If you need to do any returns, or if you need to prep that inventory, and then the next step is getting that and creating the shipment to send it to Amazon. The main thing for me sometimes is going to be having that process done, once a week, or maybe twice a month, where that you're buying products, you're finding products that are high quality, you're sourcing those products, you're buying those products, and then you're prepping and shipping those to Amazon. If you don't follow that process, sometimes, and to me that happened, that happened last month. I was so focused on buying products, but I was so busy doing other things that, we got the house really full with a lot of inventory, and we didn't have enough time to process it. So we've been trying to catch up, trying to process that inventory, because at the end of the day, the inventory doesn't help, or it won't sell if you have it in your house, or if you haven't processed it. So making sure that within your business, or depending on if you're doing it full time or part time, you have that process all the time, and you're closing that loop all the time, buying the product, prepping that product, and then sending that product to Amazon. If you do that twice a month, or even more, once a week, you're going to be able to start getting sales. And if the product is high quality, then you're going to start being able to start getting some profits and building that business.
Yeah, and there's a couple helpful things you can do to really try to streamline that system. One is to have a couple good systems within that larger system, and one would be a prep and ship location and system that you can develop. So for me, I've got all my private label stuff. I kind of work through the warehouse here, but for my arbitrage, I still do it at my home. And my wife and I have agreed to dedicate our 2-car garage to that process. And so those of you who are part of the Amazon Arbitrage Mastery membership have seen how I use my workspace in the garage to navigate all my shipments. So I've got a nice little system set up there, and everybody needs to have some sort of system if they're prepping their own products. So anytime you're doing retail arbitrage, you're bringing those products home, and you've got to have a way to move those from, just purchased to clean and prep, polybag, remove labels, that sort of thing, and then get ready to box and ship. And if you have that system set up, then you can kind of have a good staging place for all the products that you're purchasing and getting ready to ship. And you want to have a similar mindset with any online arbitrage. Right. So most of my online arbitrage, I have shipped to my home, and it enters right into that same workspace. But I've used a prep center before, and then, I'm having it's a little more automated. Then I'm just trying to make consistent purchases, right. And then the prep center is handling the rest of that. But I still need a cadence to know how to communicate with my prep center and how many products am I sending there. And so there's also a system involved with your shopping. And so I've talked about this before. I try to have a number of stores within a 15 to 20 minute radius that I can hit on a weekly basis, and then another larger group that's maybe within an hour's drive that I try to hit every month. And that then is bringing products in that can enter into the system. So I've got a system to shop and get products into the pipeline. Then I've got a system set up for products to be prepped and shipped out. And Alan's right. The more you can generate movement on both of those, now you've got a nice working environment where you're consistently feeding products into your inventory and cutting down on the amount of time between when you purchase something and when it goes live on Amazon. Alan's right. If it's sitting in your home or in your garage, or you're not going to make any sales under those circumstances. So I think those are some of our tips as to how to have good systems in place, and to try to be consistent about it. And then, the biggest challenge for most of us is probably time management, and to know how to stay in control of your Amazon business and to fit it in around the other priorities in your life. And so many of us, I've always had a full-time job while doing Amazon. I've always had 3 or 4 kids. I have 4 kids now, and I'm trying to navigate life with them and with my wife and not neglect family for the sake of the business. And then as I expand to other things like this prep center and coaching with Just One Dime and other things like that, you've just always got to figure out how am I managing my time to move my business forward. And that takes planning and it takes initiative. So I think that's a pretty important step that we're trying to put emphasis on. Anything else to add to that, Alan, or should we move to number 3?
I think that covers everything. Just making sure that you have that process, and it doesn't have to be like a big, warehouse space or anything. I mean, I'm right now, because we're staying at home. We're not really traveling a lot these days. I do everything, from my house, and, we use the living room and the kitchen, and, it doesn't have to be, because a lot of people would think you need to have a warehouse, and some people, they just, they want to do retail and online arbitrage, and they go and rent a space or things like that. You don't really have to do that, especially or even for people that use a prep center. That's even more automated. You don't really see all that mess and all that work. But you want to make sure that you have those steps in that process to make sure that everything's moving and getting out to the warehouse.
Yeah, and do what works for you. Do what fits your situation. So, before we bought our home, I had to come up with a way to create a system, and I was actually able to kind of work out a deal. I lived. It was a unique situation, but my wife and I lived in an apartment that was like on a campus that we volunteered at, and I was able to work out a deal with our landlord where he just gave us a bunch of space. It was almost as big as my garage is now. So it just took some ingenuity and some creativity to think through, like, where could I develop a space? And it was right near where we lived, just up the hill. So it didn't take up our family space, but I could get to it real easy. It was just like having a garage. I just had to think outside the box to get that space. Then when we bought the house, my wife and I talked it through, and as long as I keep the snow brush off the cars in the winter, she's happy for me to use the garage. And so, yeah, I mean, you do what works for you. Some people have a 2-bedroom apartment and they use one of the bedrooms to work it, or, I mean, so you just fit it into your own situation. But the important thing is that you have a system that works for you. Right. All right. How about number 3, Alan?
Well, number 3 for me is building your inventory. For me, focusing on building the inventory and making sure that I'm always, even just replenishing the inventory that I have or trying to make it bigger, it's going to be the key for Amazon. Even for other, business models like private label, you always want to have enough inventory, especially with the products that that they sell good. On Arbitrage, we kind of identified which categories we're able to find a lot of products that are going to sell constantly. So, for some categories, we don't have a lot of products, but then some categories that, we're always trying to buy new products and find new opportunities because we know that those are categories that are always selling. So focusing on building the inventory, I think it's going to be, for me, the step number 3, because you want to make sure that you have enough inventory. You always have enough inventory to be able to generate the sales that you need or the sales that you want on your business. And then you always know that there's going to be opportunity to make your inventory bigger and keep growing your business.
Good. So let's talk a little bit about how you would build your inventory and kind of break that down a little bit, which will be the same as answering Tibor's question. Sure. Say your goal is to have 3,000 products in your inventory. Yeah. We want to talk about how you can get there, and we do think you can get there. It's not because there's a lack of opportunities out there. Neither Alan nor I are convinced that that's true. There are plenty of opportunities, and so it's possible. It's going to take some time. So hopefully you're finding products that sell quickly. So you send them in and they sell, but still, as you press and find more opportunities, you can really expand that number. So, what are some ways that you can really build inventory, Alan?
Okay, well, everybody's going to have their own, process and their own the way that is more comfortable for anybody. For example, I know that you like the way that you like to do your business is a little bit different than mine, because I like to buy only maybe 3-5 units of each product, and I know that if you find something, you probably want to buy whatever it's on the shelf.
Yeah, so you could double your inventory by just buying twice as many of each product, Alan.
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of say that tongue in cheek, but it's also true. It's ways that I've made a conscious effort at time to buy higher quantities.
Yeah.
So I've decided, like, what's my tolerance, my risk tolerance, and within kind of the realm of what we've talked about with high quality products, at what point am I willing to push the boundaries of quantity a little bit when I have opportunity? I mean, sometimes you have a really good opportunity, but you can only buy 4 of the product because that's all that's available to you. But when there are times that a higher quantity is available, I've pushed myself a little bit because I know I can expand my inventory that way. So if the BSR is under a certain level and the profitability is a certain height, then I'm willing to go 20, 30, 50 products, 50 units of that product. And that's one way that I've expanded my inventory. But you're right. Different people do it different ways, which is the cool thing about having a conversation like this. So I interrupted you. You can pick up where you were.
No, that's fine. So I was saying, okay, so if you're gonna do it the way I do it, it's gonna take you a thousand, products to get to 3,000 units. But if you're willing to maybe go deeper on one product and maybe buy 10, 20 units of one product, usually it's not gonna take as much. I myself personally, I only been able to get to about 850 SKUs on my inventory, and sometimes I will have 5, 7 units. There's a few products that I usually carry more, but most of my products are 3 to 5 units. So to be able to get about to maintain about 3,000 to 3,500 units, you're gonna be between maybe 100 SKUs to maybe 700 or 800 SKUs, depending on how deep are you going on some of the products. Like I have a few products now that I'm able to buy more. Like I purchased, I think it was 70 units of one product. But that's, I can count, how many products I have that I go very deep. The rest of my products are gonna be very, very small units for each product. And it's not hard to manage when you have a system, and you know that, for example, I'm always buying 3 to 5 units per product. So I'm always, for me, the harder part is I have to continue buying those products and then trying to replenish the ones that are selling. But it's not really hard for me because I have software. Like I have not tactical, I have inventory lab that helps me manage the amount of inventory that I have and the sales and everything. I have a Be Cool, which is going to be a repricer that I'm always checking, and I'm always looking at how many units I have. So you kind of have, again, you have to develop your own system where you can understand how your business is doing, and then just try to keep up with the demand of the products that you're selling.
Yeah, and I probably hover right around 1,000 to 1,200 SKUs. But there are plenty of times when I purchase between 10 and 15 units of a product. And so to answer Tibor's other questions, when I'm doing online, again, if the numbers are good enough, I'll buy anywhere from 8 to 15 typically of a particular product if they're available and if it's profitable. Or I expand variations. So maybe, if I'm buying shoes, I'll only buy 2 of each variation, but maybe I buy 10 different variations. So I'm ultimately buying 20 of the shoes, but they're all different, 2 of each size, 2 of different colors, things like that. And then there have been rare times when I've bought quantities of, 25 or 50. There was one time I bought a quantity of like 350 of a product because the numbers were so good and I was sure they were going to sell. But those are pretty unique opportunities.
Right. The only thing that I was gonna say, when it comes to buying online, it's gonna be on the main stores like Walmart, Target, all of these stores. I try to limit the orders to a very small amount. So, for example, if I end up having to buy, let's say 10 or 15 units of one product, I don't want to buy everything on one ticket because I might get that order canceled or something. So I usually buy 2, 3 units on one ticket, and then I buy another 3 units on a different order. And sometimes I even go to another Walmart account, log into a different account, maybe my wife's account, buy from there 2, 3 units, a couple orders, and then I do the same with Target and all the stores. And the main reason is because sometimes these stores, they might stop that transaction or cancel that order just to prevent any kind of fraud, or sometimes they identify that it's somebody's just trying to resell, and some stores, they don't like that. They don't like to sell to resellers. So you want to just be careful and just try to buy small orders and just break them off in different accounts or just different orders.
Yeah, and that's happened to me a couple times, but it's only happened rarely. And there's a couple websites where I regularly spend, I don't know, $600-700 per order, and I've never had a problem with it. So a while back, I just said, screw it, I'm gonna just buy how I want to buy, and I got dinged at a couple websites, and now I'm just cautious with those websites using a different email address,
Yeah.
and I continue to kind of cruise along, but it works for me. So, Alan, any do you want to show your screen and maybe talk a little bit about how ROI Scanner can help with some of the things that we've discussed?
And one of the things that I wanted to announce is that we have 10 new stores that we're able to find products that we just added in a few in the last maybe 10 days. So if you notice here, we used to have up to IKEA and GameStop. Now we added Ace Hardware, we added Belk, Barnes and Noble, Soro.com, BB Toy Store, REI Co-op, which is a very good store for us. Academy, Sierra Trading, which is another good store for us, East Bay, and Beauty Brands. So now you can go to all of these stores. I think now we're up to 27 stores where you can just go and, for example, if you go to East Bay, just click on each. If you're on roiscanner.com/stores, you can just click on any of these, and it's gonna take you to the store. And same thing. You can just go to, like, for example, if I go to all the sales or all the markdowns, and I just start browsing, I'm gonna be able to look at any product and just let me see if I go to a different category, because these are gonna be a lot of variations.
Another way to really increase your inventory is to expand your opportunities. And so I think, shopping, so online arbitrage, trying to hit websites that you haven't hit before. ROI Scanner is super helpful because you can kind of you can move away from doing just clearance parts of the website, and you can pretty efficiently navigate the regularly sold items on websites and find deals that you can do arbitrage with, believe it or not, right there online. You can buy from one website and turn around and sell on Amazon at a profit, even though it's not a part of a discount or clearance part of the website. And ROI Scanner really helps you do that efficiently. So I think finding more opportunities, I do that all the time with retail arbitrage by stopping in stores that I might never have thought about going into, and I'm surprised at the opportunities that I can find.
Right. So this is the nice thing I like about ROI Scanner. So, for example, I found this product that right away I can see that it has good profit. But then if I start just looking at the information right here, I see that there's no rank. So maybe this product hasn't sold in a long time, and then I can confirm that with the Keepa graphs where there's no rank. So somebody might have just checked this product and just notice that it has a good profit. It's almost 100% ROI. They buy it, but then they didn't check, if there is any demand, what is the competition. But I can see this really quick and just say, okay, this is not good. Then something like this where I don't have any dimensions, I can just go and do it really quick. But I can see right away that this one doesn't have any estimated sales in the last 30 days. So I can just scan very fast and just look at products that are going to be I'm going to be able to buy really fast. This is a different one. Oh no, this is the same. See this one, 200% ROI, no sales. So I can just look at it really quick and just see if it's something that I can buy right away or not.
Yeah, those are good examples of products that are listed in the Amazon catalog, but they have no precedent for actually making sales. If you see NA in the BSR, it just means it maybe has never sold before. And just because somebody created the listing and has quantity doesn't mean that they're making sales. And so you don't want to jump in, even if the ROI is good.
Exactly. So, you can go to any of these stores and kind of browse around and just look at the products. And then if you find any opportunity, you want to double check, make sure everything looks good. And then say there's another one. Oh, this is too low. It's only 50% ROI. But the nice thing about ROI Scanner is that it's very easy to browse through a lot of products, get that information really quick, and then now you have 10 more stores to kind of go through and analyze products with.
Yeah, so I think that's a great example. So just finding more opportunities and using a tool like ROI Scanner to do it is really a helpful way, I think. Tibor is asking about removing products, and I don't fully understand his question, but you know what you haven't sold because it just hangs out in your inventory long enough. And so, even when we're trying to find high quality products, all of us make mistakes and all of us buy products that we're not able to sell like we had thought we could. And so Amazon's going to start charging you long-term storage fees when they are in the fulfillment system for over 6 months. And it's real easy within Amazon Seller Central to find out what products in your inventory have been in longer than 6 months and what have been in there longer than 12 months. And so, Tibor, all I do is I monitor my inventory, and on a monthly basis, I pay attention to what's going to incur long-term storage fees. And you can easily create a removal order for all your products that have been in there for more than a year or for more than 6 months, however you want to do it. And you pay 50 cents per product, and those products will come back to you. And then we're all faced with the decision of what do you do with those. And so I usually, try to, there's a number of things. Sometimes I list them on Amazon as FBM products because I've discerned, I think these are just long tail products and they'll sell eventually. And I stick them in my garage on some shelves that I've put in there. Sometimes I'll list them on eBay. Every year we have a yard sale, and sometimes we make close to $1,000 on our silly yard sale just because we're selling a ton of products that it's just stuff I've written off with Amazon. And then other times we give them away or just use them. The kids have toys that have been Amazon bummers and stuff like that. And then if you're asking about deleting a listing, once you've sold your products and you have zero quantity and your listing in your managed inventory is inactive, you want to delete it from your managed inventory, remove it from there. It'll help increase your IPI score, and it just gets that extra baggage out of your inventory list so you actually know how many active and real listings you're dealing with.
Right. Yeah, I think it's going to be just monitor your FBA inventory on your Seller Central. Whatever is at zero and it's already it's already out of the system, you can just delete it. Most of the time, again, if you have something that you can replenish really fast, then you can just create a new shipment and send more of that inventory. But it's something that you're gonna end up buying in the next few months, or maybe you'll only find these products once or twice a year. Just delete it from your inventory, and then once you buy it again, you can just create a listing. You have to remember that you're only adding that product to your inventory. You're not removing from the catalog or doing anything with the catalog. You're just adding that product to your inventory, and it's as easy as add that product to inventory, or just delete it from it. So it should be okay.
Yeah, once a month I go through and I just select in my managed inventory. I start at like page 6 or 7 or wherever it is, and I click all the inactive ones that have zero quantity and remove them. And then I go to page 5, do the same thing, page 4, and it just, it's like getting a haircut every month. It just trims down your managed inventory. So, well, good. I hope those 3 simple steps are helpful for you guys, and then talking through some of the details, it gives you some tracks to run on. Think about how you can move your Amazon business forward if you're already selling. How can you move your arbitrage forward? If you haven't started selling on Amazon, there's never going to be a better time than right now. The opportunities are endless. Amazon's exploding, and maybe it's time for you to get started with your own e-commerce business. And it's as simple as beginning to do some arbitrage. The risk is low. It requires minimal investment up front, and you can find yourself really adding significant margin to your budget, which is what a lot of us are thankful for. And so check out the links below. Look into ROI Scanner. If you aren't already subscribed to it, you can use the free trial. If you're interested in exploring the Just One Dime memberships, they're below. And we're going to try to do this again next Monday. So let us encourage you to keep moving forward, and hopefully we'll see you again next time.
Bye, guys. Take care. Have a good day.